How you doing? My name is Erick Otchere, and I'm going to discuss how to run a labor-based Susu. This topic is a little bit more intricate than the prior understanding, only because it's a little bit out of the norm in terms of how we exchange resources. Typically, we use currency or dollars, money, to pay for services or to be paid for services. So this is a opportunity to discuss the Susu in a sense that is not so contemporary. This is a little bit more traditional, and it is still effective. Start with how to run a labor-based Susu. So the first thing you need to obviously run a labor-based Susu is people. And I will go with making this a title of human resources. So people are human resources. You obviously need people to run a Susu, so you would definitely need people to run a labor-based Susu. Labor-based meaning these are your payout is going to be you have the opportunity to use people to your services. That may not sound appropriate, but this is what we're talking about. You have to take your mind out of how we operate with money and exchanging money on a daily basis and kind of rotate this around. How can I use friends and family in my social network in order to get the help that I need from the people in their time? I guess that's kind of a easier way to swallow what I'm trying to say here. So again, this is from a perspective of long-lasting memories of how Susus have been traditionally run. This can go back to the beginnings of time in terms of the concept. So two basic things from that you get people, but from another level of understanding, then you would have to think about it from a standpoint of in terms of needing what you need to run a Susu. Obviously, you need a schedule or a calendar. And this is basic. Whenever you have a group economy based on the idea of the Susu, you're going to need dates and times of when these resources are going to be allocated to whatever individual, whatever entity. And that leads me to the next dual component that you need, along with a calendar or schedule. Just put schedule here. You're going to need people. But in this sense, you're going to need something like a company. Or in the literal sense, company in terms of groups of people, or you can just say literally a company, an established literal company. So you can take this literally or figuratively, but I'm trying to give you an abstract point of view in terms of just the basic structure of how to run a labor Susu. So you got the people, you got human resources, you got the schedule, and you got the company or companies. And really, you want to look at it from a standpoint of company with companies, because this company with companies is going to be operating a scheduled Susu based on human resources. So some of the, I guess you could say, schedule type bases you can go on is weekly and monthly. And that should be broken down into hours, because that's how we work. We work in hours, and you want to maybe go on a monthly basis with this because you're actually using people's time. This is what's happening here. Weekly would probably be more for an intense project where that particular project needs to be done within a few months. But if you're working on an ongoing process of constantly operating on this labor-based Susu, you would want to go with a monthly basis, but you would want people to know that this isn't we're breaking this labor-based Project Susu endeavor on the hours of time spent by these company or companies. So then you want to break it down. What type of usefulness are these companies going to be? What is the use of this company or companies? And I would say some of the main things: business services, and I would say something along the lines of, and this is just me not having any, I could say tangible idea of what to do. I'm just giving you examples of how you could use these company or companies. One would be business services, and another one could be real estate. Or home building. And hopefully you're kind of getting the gist of where I'm going with this. And I just want to kind of give an example based on these two right here. Real estate and business services. So you got business services and real estate. And how would you use a labor-based Susu for those two concepts? And I would just go with real estate home building for now. Basically, you have a company or companies that has laborers who are skilled in this, and I'm pretty sure maybe I guess we can relate this to maybe some groups that actually have these skills in their community on a prevalent basis. That would probably be our Caribbean people, particularly Jamaicans, Guyanese, and Mexicans. These are people who are generally in the contracting business, who are community-based contract servicing type people. So they would have the ability to build each other's homes for each other on a scheduled basis, on a monthly basis. They can build a calendar. And let me just say, you can build a calendar based on the idea of, hey, we're going to build this home first on this month or this couple of months, and then when we're done with this home, we're going to build this home. And these are people in the community's homes being built. That's just a way to rotate the resources based on labor. The human resources are being rotated on a scheduled basis for the goal of real estate, building homes. So, there will probably be aspects where some people will need to be paid. Some companies may actually need to be paid with dollars. But you could subsidize a lot of the costs based on the labor already established in the community. So you can have a community business-based services or real estate community real estate based services, real estate community-based services or business services community. Even with the business services, you just rotate the concept. It's, hey, I have a business, you have a business, and this group of companies can form a company in order to rotate their labor services, where one month this company sends out a few of its employees to this company, and they share in the resource of the human employment, of the human resource, sharing the human resources. So companies are using each other's labor over a period of time so that they can subsidize the costs with the labor. And this is something that a lot of businesses practices. We just don't really pay close attention to it or formulate it or codify it into something. It just has to be established beforehand. You have to establish these concepts beforehand. You have to go into the concept, hey, thinking, how are we going to establish some type of Susu based on the labor? And I mean, this can go on and on, but I just want to keep it brief. So in short, to have a labor-based Susu, first you need people in the human resources. You need to have a schedule. You need to have a calendar, preferably monthly, but if you have to have an intense project, you want to go weekly. And then you're definitely going to need to have the company or the companies in order to do it. So the people, the companies, and a schedule can operate and subsidize a lot of costs. Also may be able to eliminate certain costs by simply trading in labor on a scheduled basis. And that is how you that is how you run a labor-based Susu. And that's all I have for today. If you have any more to go on that, you want to ask me some questions, hit me up in the comments. And please subscribe. All right, and I'll talk to you later. There's gonna be more to come.